Thank you for double-clicking your mouse tonight. You're listening to the Midnight Frightcast in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Midnight Frightcast, episode number 53. I am one of your hosts, Josh. Sitting across the table from me, as always, is the Doctor of Filmonomics, Greg.
I would like to say my ears are not bleeding and I am wearing shorts today.
And the Scream Queen herself to my left is Maddie.
Hello.
And of course, to my right is the Doctor of Everything Else, Patrick.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Cool, so it's been a little bit of time since we've done this, so we got to get back into the
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, so I am just going to fire it right out there. We're going to start with, we watched a trailer called The Dead Don't Die. So who's going to start off with their thoughts on that?
If this has a theatrical release, because we have not been able to determine if it is getting a theatrical release or VOD or what it's going to be, I'm going to watch this thing as soon as it comes out. It looks really, really interesting to me. It's got a great cast. It kind of has a Zombieland meets Shaun of the Dead feel to it. Iggy Pop has never looked better.
He was in zombie makeup the whole time.
So, it's just Adam Driver is one of my fan favorites. I just love watching him. And then with Bill Murray and everything else, great cast. I'll be there to watch this one.
Cool, Greg?
I concur with that. As far as horror comedy goes, I feel like if you've got a really good cast and obviously if you've got a great story, I think you should be able to do no wrong. And this has got an absolutely phenomenal cast. Adam Driver is quickly climbing up my list of favorite actors. Bill Murray is an icon.
Danny Glover, Carol Kane, Iggy Pop.
Selena Gomez is
it's
nice
a cast.
to look at.
Yeah,
I'll definitely check this one out. I feel like it's going to be a good show.
Cool. Maddie, what's up?
I won't check it out because I don't like zombie movies and I'm not a comedy person, but I can see why it appeals to other people. It does have a really good cast. Yeah, I can see other people really enjoying it. I can see it being good. I just don't get the feeling I would enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like we've had a really good zombie comedy in a while. There was Zombieland, and then there was, we saw Shaun of the Dead. I don't think it's going to hit those marks. It might hit like Zombieland level, but it'll never chase Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, never.
No,
I completely agree with that.
I think those came out at a special time when zombie films were starting to hit pretty hard, and then obviously the comedy comes in on the side of that. So you're way beyond when that was supposed to. So this is just going to be kind of like a nostalgic purpose.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a great cast. Bill Murray and anything is fun to watch. Like you guys said, already Adam Driver, the whole cast. So again, I don't think I'll chase it to a theater. But lately, I've been really fucking wrong on what I will chase and what I won't. So I might miss the mark on this one as well. But yeah, I'll definitely see it if it comes out. So
yeah, one of the little bits that I noticed in the trailer, which it caught my eye, and it's just like a Bill Murray thing. He's walking along with a shotgun shell in his mouth like a cigar.
Oh, I didn't even see that part.
Yeah, it's like when they shut the doors, they kick the doors closed on the squad car.
Oh
okay.
yeah.
And he's just walking along with a shotgun shell sticking
I missed
out
that part
of his
too.
mouth. And it looks like, he's got the copper end sticking out. And it just looks like he's munching on a cigar during that time.
Cool. So we said June
14th is
correct?
the release date. But once again, nothing I could find on the internet said whether it was theatrical or VOD.
Fantastic. So cool. So we'll drop that trailer, obviously, on the Midnight Frightcast or the Midnight Frights Facebook page. So if you go to that, you can check out the trailer that we just reviewed. Otherwise, we're going to move on to the news.
The what?
The news.
The what?
I'm not fucking repeating it. Just do it.
It's the news.
So, news is pretty light. So I have one, but does everybody have one?
I got a couple.
One, yeah.
You have one? Did you bring some news, Greg?
I brought one, but I just read through the article and it's dumb as crap, so I'm going to let it go.
You're going to let it go?
Yeah.
Maddie, what news do you have?
Mine is from PC World. Dario Argento is working on a game. He's the creative director or something like that. It's called Dreadful Bound. It's a first-person psychological horror game set inside an abandoned house.
Like a video game type game?
Yeah,
Oh.
Well, I don't know. It could have been PC or video game. I didn't really. It's
Not
in
like
PC
not like a-
gamer.
not
Not like a
board
Dungeon
game.
and Dragons
No,
type
like
thing. Okay.
a yeah.
Use a controller and
Cool.
get
Yeah.
scared from your TV type or scared from a screen.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think I'm not a huge video game person just because, I can only handle 15 minutes of a movie normally. So, but I thought that was kind of cool, and I think horror games are kind of fun.
Agreed.
How quickly does he take that and turn that into a movie? You know what I mean? Like,
Probably
Yeah.
very.
Yeah. Just curious how quickly you think he turns that around.
That could be kind of interesting if he does that, though, because if he's the creative director on the video game, he may have in the back of his mind that he wants to turn it into a movie,
Yeah.
which he could kind of collaborate two of those together,
Yeah.
which actually might make a movie based on a video game that's decent.
Yeah.
Because
What
I
a
have
concept.
yet to see one of those.
Yeah.
Although, even though the Silent Hill movie is kind of garbage, I still love it.
I didn't think, out of all the movies that they've done, I liked Silent Hill the best out of those. Like Resident Evil was decent, but they went way left on story, and that kind of bugged me. But I really liked how they did Silent Hill.
They also went way
cute.
bad as time went on.
Well, yeah.
Come
Yeah.
on, guys. They made Doom with The Rock. I mean, we're just south there.
Semper Fi, motherfucker.
Patrick, you got news?
I do have news.
Cool.
I got a couple things. So I'll read one, and then you can do one, and then
Yeah,
I can do one.
cool.
And from Fansided, the new Pet Cemetery, Josh's favorite, is
Yeah.
had an opening this weekend, and Paramount Pictures Film is already in the black, opening in over 3,500 screens. The horror movie is already claiming $25 million domestically on a budget of only $21 million. And then you throw in the other $17.3 million from international tickets, and this baby is far from dead.
Yeah, and I'm glad that it did well. That's my unhappiness with it does not mean I want that movie to fail. It was always going to be a successful movie. It's got Stephen King's
Right.
name on it. It's fucking Pet Cemetery. That movie was never going to fail, no matter how big of a turd it was. It was always going to make money. But that's cool. That I'm sure, and that was opening weekend, so
Yeah.
it's only going to get
More from that point.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because they're going to run the advertisements now that talk about how much of a blockbuster it is after the first weekend and try to generate some more this upcoming weekend.
yeah. So my only news was news that I don't know if I'm excited about or not. I haven't decided yet, but Mark Hamill has been cast as the new voice of Chucky
Yes.
for the Child's Play movies. And I don't know how I'm not going to miss Brad Dourif doing it. He was the originator of that voice. That's all I want to hear is him do it. But I also know Mark Hamill can...
Mark Hamill's a solid voice
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
a great ad right
yeah,
there.
so I wish that they would have just cast him to do the voice and not announced it. Almost go uncredited because I just don't want to know it's Mark Hamill. That bothers me for
So you-
whatever reason.
So you're going to sit there in the theater and just think, oh, that's Mark Hamill?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. That's just me. I'm sure he'll do a great job.
Oh, yeah.
The whole Chucky reboot, anyway, in general, I'm not super excited about. I was never really a fan of the originals anyway, but I was a fan of Brad Dourif. So, whatevs. It's all good. We'll see how it goes. I'll see that dumb fucking movie. You know I will. So,
And then you'll buy it later, too.
I will. I'll probably buy the new Pet Cemetery, and I shit all over that one. You read that review.
Yep.
Go ahead, Patrick.
All right. From iHorror, after the breakout success of 2018's Hereditary, expectations for director Ari Aster's next film are already extremely high. Originally intended for an August release date, his sophomore film titled Midsummer, which we reviewed the trailer last time we cast, it's been moved up to July 3rd. So they are pushing for the summer blockbuster weekend.
Of course they are.
That's just such a weird spot.
It really
for
is
a horror film
because usually it's action movies
Yeah.
and comedies during that time.
Yeah.
Well, but I'd expect a movie titled Midsummer to come out
Midsummer.
midsummer, not
Yeah.
end of August. So I think it makes sense.
There's logic in that.
Weird.
I like
know.
that. I like that.
I know, weird, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
It just seems weird going up against the action movies at that time.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't suffer because of that.
Well, I mean, horror's kind of having a little bit of a moment as far as bigger blockbusters, like in the last, few months. So I can see it going up against those and going well.
I think a lot of it will depend on what it goes up against. Obviously, if they throw a Marvel movie in there, then it's Midsummer what?
Yeah, but it's also I know he made Hereditary, but he's still not that super well known. in the universe. And so when you say, Ari Aster Midsummer, I don't think it's not going to reach a fan base outside of the people that were just already going to go see that movie.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to kill that well at the theater. Anyway.
You're probably going to see a lot of ads that just say, from the maker and director of Hereditary is what it's going to to start off with.
So, but yeah, we'll see.
That's all the news I've got.
Cool. Then I guess we just wrap the news.
That was the news.
We got to figure out something to get a hold of the board or something. Just be like, oh, the news. Shut it off for a second and then
how about a cattle prod?
But see, then I
cattle prod.
But then I take the recordings from previous podcasts.
That's true.
And
I can't
plug it in.
we can't.
Unless you're going to edit this thing.
It's that whole thing. Fix it in post.
Yeah, we can't defeat the editor. So he will win every
Josh
time.
realized since the last podcast, because I was listening to the podcast and I was listening for things that I had said and it wasn't in there.
Yeah,
Some
Josh
comments
just
that I
didn't
edited
exist
out.
or something.
No. It was
okay.
we did a really long March Madness stretch.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Patrick
Hacked and slashed.
slaughtered the shit out of it.
I took about 15 minutes overall after what we had done.
Yeah, I figured. That's all right.
But yeah, let's go to what we've been watching because it's been a little bit. So surely everybody's been watching something. Greg, you want to start? You got a list?
I do have a list. I'm going to touch on one for sure, but I did go out and see Us. I don't know if we had talked about that the last time we were here.
We did not.
We did not. So I went out and saw Us. I was very pleased with how it turned out. Very excited. Definitely go and check that out. Jordan Peele, I think, is going to have a great horror career.
Yeah.
One of the more creative horrors that I have seen in a long, long time, which was very refreshing.
And the first 2 episodes of Twilight Zone have dropped also.
That they have, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
And the first one is still, I believe, available on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, I just got CBS All Access, so I'm watching it on that.
Fancy.
Too cool.
So
excellent. The one I do want to touch on, I went and saw opening night last week was Tim Burton's Dumbo.
Oh, nice.
It was interesting. It was definitely a Tim Burton film. Definitely didn't miss that at all. The story itself, and I've got the full list of my review on GregTheMovieGuy.com. It felt like it was a checklist movie where they went back, watched the original Dumbo, took all the highlight scenes, went through, hit that one, and then it went into a movie.
Gotcha,
so
yeah.
it was very choppy, very weird, I felt. It didn't really get going until about halfway through the movie for me.
Okay, it's a long movie too, wasn't it?
What was it? It was just shy of 2 hours, I think,
Wow.
or just
That is
over
pretty
2
long.
hours, which was
That's pretty long for a
kids' movie.
family movie.
family movie, yeah.
Did they keep in all the racist scenes and stuff like that?
No, actually, one of the coolest scenes in that movie was the sequence where they used pink elephants on parade.
Okay.
The CGI that they used in that was just fantastic.
All right.
So definitely worth that. But Dumbo in clown makeup is fucking creepy. I don't know if you've seen those shots at all. They are like,
Yeah.
No.
Is it the regular Tim Burton cast lineup that he always uses?
Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito.
Helen Bonham Carter.
She wasn't in there. He used Ava Green for his kind of leading lady.
Okay.
Colin Farrell had a big role in there. And otherwise, the rest of it was kind of led by 2 newcomers, 2 kids. And I can't think of their names off the top of my heads. But yeah, Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito from back in Batman days.
Yeah.
And the other one that Michael Keaton was in that I can't think of. Somebody help? Beetlejuice. That's what it was. Beetlejuice. So yeah, definitely Tim Burton playing with his friends again.
Cool.
So
What else you got? Anything?
no, that was it. That's all.
Maddie?
And continuing with last time's theme, I've been watching cult documentaries again, and I watched Jonestown. Sorry.
That just sounded funny to me. I've been watching cult movies again.
And it's such a casual thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. It was interesting. I don't know if I'd recommend checking this out, even though the story is really interesting. The way they did the documentary was weird. I wish they had gone into more detail of what went on, because they just kind of, everything was really choppy, like everyone talking. It kind of almost seemed like every part of the movie was some sort of like promotional clip. Just the way people were talking. I don't know, it was just choppy, and I wish they had just gone more into how he, I want instructions on how he got all these people together and created this. So, but yeah, Jonestown.
Cool. Yeah, I got a couple of things that I watched for the last couple of weeks. Wrapped up Santa Clarita Diet season 3 with my wife last night.
Good.
That show was fucking solid.
Yeah?
It kind of got better, actually, I thought, from season to season. I thought usually those kind of slow down and they kind of like taper off. Season 3 ended on a really nice note.
Excellent.
The shitty thing is you got to wait till March of 2020 for it to come back. So that'll teach us to binge watch a show. So
I will say that's the one thing I dislike about how Netflix and Amazon does things, that I would prefer they released an episode a week and just keep me interested in
kind
it.
of.
And then I don't feel like I'm waiting forever for the next season.
yeah, because you also don't know if people are going to lose interest and get tired of waiting. But I definitely will look forward to season 4 because it's rocking pretty solid still.
Cool.
I watched a couple documentaries on Amazon Prime, not quote documentaries. I watched To Hell and Back, the Kane Hodder story, which was really interesting. And then I watched a documentary called Unearthed and Untold, The Path to Pet Cemetery, which was about the making of the original Pet Cemetery.
That would be fantastic.
It was really interesting and really cool how they got that movie made because they struggled for a really long time to get that movie greenlit. And it only got greenlit based off a writer's strike. And it was just a script that was sitting around. So they had to find scripts that were already just available.
Right.
So that was kind of an interesting story about how that movie got made and where they shot it, because they shot it in Maine where Stephen King wrote it, and how they used people in Maine as characters and had auditions. And it was a really big deal, but it was really interesting. So I definitely would check that documentary out. And then I went and saw Jordan Peele's Us, which Greg already touched on. I was 95% happy walking out of that movie. It was a very good sophomore follow-up to Get Out. The thing is, like, it's so irritating because people go in and they want Get Out. And it's like, you can't go in and expect that movie.
Right.
This is completely, it went left. It's a different direction. And if I went in and watched Get Out again, I would have been pissed. I don't want that again. And Get Out was better. But Us had a ton of really great spots in there. And the Hands Across America thing, too. I was a kid in the 80s, but I wasn't old enough for that, so I had no idea. So that made me go back and research all that stuff. And it was just really interesting how he tied all these things together. And then I went and saw Pet Sematary and ruined the streak. No, you guys read. I barely call it a review, just some thoughts that I dropped in the group message. But there were so many times that this movie could have been really, really good, and they missed the mark on every single one of them. I was 7. I just remember I was 7 because the original came out in 1989. I was 7 when the original came out, and it scared the shit out of me. And Zelda and Victor Pascal were the two of the scariest fucking people I'd ever seen in my life, and they were side notes in this movie. And it was really sad. The scares were gone. The characters were super flat. And beyond John Lithgow, it just was I didn't care about anybody. But I would definitely, go out and, form your own opinion, because there's people that either love this movie or everybody's hating on this movie.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a split. So that's what I watched. So,
I was really excited when both of you guys said that you liked Us. And then I had 2 friends that commented on your review that I had shared of it. And those are 2 people whose horror movie opinions I really trust because they line in a lot with my own, and neither of them liked it. So now I'm like, oh, dang it. Like, I'm still going to watch it, but like, I'm a little less excited knowing that the 2 people who, as I said, our horror movie opinions are almost perfectly in line. And I was like, oh, shit.
I got you. I mean, yeah. So it's definitely, Jordan Peele has his own
Style, yeah.
And that's what you're going to walk into. If you were a fan of Get Out, it's that same style, but I mean the story is completely different.
And that's what I liked most about it was I didn't get a story that I felt like I had seen. If I had, it's been a long, long time since. And the creativity of how he went about everything within that story was really what captured me. I had actually called the ending about halfway through. It's not difficult to do, but still getting you from point A to point B is the best part of how that happened. And that's why I really liked Us. And people can hate on it all you want. Again, they wanted Get Out. If you want a remake of a movie, wait 10 months, you're going to get something from somebody else, and it's going to be garbage, and you're going to be hating yourself.
He definitely makes social commentary movies, and so if you don't want a movie where you have to think and you just want blood and guts on the screen, then don't go see us because
Right.
the movie's not for you.
No.
Okay.
I mean-
I'm going to watch it and I'm going to keep an open mind. I'm just, as I said, slightly less excited than I was previously.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Patrick, I'm done. Sorry, I talked too long.
No, that's all right. I too saw Us, went out, caught it, loved it. To me personally, I think it's probably better than Get Out.
Did you think so?
Really?
Yeah.
Did you?
Interesting.
I
okay.
think so. I felt it was better fleshed out than what Get Out was.
Did you?
I just really enjoyed it. This weekend, I also saw Captain Marvel because I hadn't had a chance to see that up until this point. Not my favorite Marvel movie, but I still was thoroughly entertained with it. And then finally, Hulu is a lying bitch and never tells me when there's new episodes anymore. So I went back and watched the entire second half of the season for the Goldbergs
Okay.
because it just never tells me that it's there.
Cool.
So I binged that. So yeah, that's what I've been watching.
There's a cool thing in Captain Marvel. Sorry, it's been out long enough. The Stan Lee cameo was a nice little nod to Kevin Smith
Oh, with the Mallrats
with
script.
the Mallrats,
Oh, yeah.
script. So there's a shirt in Mallrats that Brody wears. I don't know if anybody's seen Mallrats, but
Yeah.
you
One of my
can't
favorites.
really
Yeah.
make out what the shirt is. So Brody comes back in the new Jay and Silent Bob reboot and finally put a shirt on Brody, and you can make out, and it's Stanley's face.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that was Kevin Smith's little nod back. So. Is that what you've been watching, Patrick? Is that
That's
right?
everything
Okay,
that
cool.
I've been watching.
So we're going to go into that kind of. We wrapped all those nice little things up quickly because our March Madness takes for fucking ever. For anybody that missed last week's episode, we started March Madness and for our horror films, and Greg can kind of reintroduce that.
Tag
segment.
in. And I'm your host now. It's Greg the Movie Guy, and we're going to be talking about March Madness here. Last time we had met, we started with the first couple regional brackets of our March Madness tournament. Basically, what we did was we took the top 32 horror movies of all time. This is kind of a conglomerated list of a bunch of top lists that I found and mashed it together. And so we're just taking these down tourney style to see what Midnight Frights cast feels is the best horror movie ever. So let's jump into one of our next regions. Maddie, let's do the Maddie region.
Woo!
All right.
Can't wait to see how we can fuck up this bracket. Here we
Yeah,
go.
let's ruin
You
it.
know, one thing that I'm really kicking myself for is I wanted each of us to fill out our own bracket, and then
Yeah.
all four of us go through this, and then kind of compare and contrast and see who thought what.
Oh, yeah,
all
gotcha.
that. Just
we could probably do that on when we wrap everything up and we see where we land and then kind of discuss where we thought we were going to land.
that's not a bad
that'll
idea.
work.
So
Cool.
we'll send that out and see what we got here. Okay, so our number one seed in the Maddie region is The Shining, going up against Poltergeist.
Maddie, it's your bracket.
Oh, okay.
You ruined it.
You know, this one, I like both of these movies a lot. I think arguably Shining is the better movie. However, I think Poltergeist is more entertaining. I
Okay.
really like that movie. It's not 7 hours long. So I'm going to have to choose Poltergeist just because it's one that I know I watched a lot when I was younger and I really liked it. Not saying I didn't like The Shining,
Right.
just Poltergeist wins for me.
Absolutely. I'm going to jump to the other side of the fence. The Shining, to me, is one of the most iconic horror movies ever made. I love Jack Nicholson in Jack Torrance's role. I love watching his descent into madness. And just Stanley Kubrick behind the helm, he just had some incredible shots in that movie. So The Shining wins for me.
I think it's important to note that when they refer to The Shining, it is Stanley Kubrick's Shining as opposed to Stephen King's Shining.
Correct.
Because he moves away from the book so much in that film. When I watched it, I loved the movie itself, but then I realized I had to separate it from the book because I loved the book so much. My point is going to Poltergeist because for me, that was original and, as Maddie said, more entertaining.
Yeah, kind of the same thing. Both these movies had issues with it, their creators. Both of them just fucking hated the turnout of these movies. But I am definitely going to go a way I didn't think I'd go. I'm going to go with Poltergeist.
Woohoo!
Woo!
So
I fucking hate you all.
look,
Sorry.
dude. I mean, Poltergeist is
I'm
like
kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I totally get where you're coming from. The Shining is so iconic, but
As far as entertainment, I get it. Poltergeist is a very entertaining film. I
The
guess
Shining is fucking slow.
it is. No, it's
It's
a definite
really
slow
slow.
burn. Absolutely, absolutely,
It's
is.
a great movie, but you got to be in for a sit for that movie.
Yeah.
And Jack Nicholson really is the only fun one to watch on that screen. Like watching Shelley Duvall go fucking crazy is like the torment they put her through on that movie. You're watching some real shit.
Yeah.
In her performance.
Oh, absolutely,
but
absolutely.
still,
But seeing what she pulls out of it is just mind blowing for
I like
me.
it better as olive oil, but that's just me. Let's move on.
Wow.
All right, moving down to our next little bracket here is John Carpenter's The Thing versus another Stephen King movie, Carrie.
We'll just start over with the same
Yeah.
person. Let's go with
Just
Maddie and
keep
go
going,
around.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'm going to have to go with Carrie.
Okay,
I don't have a reason for it. Just
that's fair.
I like Carrie, and I remember my mindset in high school, and I would have loved to have done that shit. So
I had just recently seen The Thing in our 31 Days of Horror for the first time, and I absolutely loved what they were able to do with that. The creatures that they came out with were just insanely terrifying and awesome. However, I do love Carrie. The story of Carrie, I think, is hauntingly beautiful in a way, and think of that as of me as you will put that. But I love the story of Carrie, so I'm moving that forward.
You guys know how I feel about Stephen King. Probably, I think Carrie is probably the second or third of his books that I read. I thought, like you said, beautifully haunting, and it was such a breakout role for Sissy Spacek.
It was hauntingly beautiful.
That's what I meant to say. So my vote is going for Carrie as well.
As much as I enjoyed John Travolta in Carrie, I like John Carpenter better. So I would have gone with The Thing.
You can go with The Thing.
I am going with The Thing.
All right. Carrie moves
Carrie
on.
moves on.
All right. Coming up next, we've got a zombie movie, Dawn of the Dead. This is not the remake. This is the original versus Bride of Frankenstein. Again, the original. I don't think there is a second one.
I don't know if they remade that or not.
I don't think they did.
remade
They've
that
remade Frankenstein horribly.
many times.
well, congratulations, everybody, for not remaking Bride of Frankenstein. We're really proud of you.
It's coming.
Yet.
Yeah.
Give it time.
I just recently watched Bride of Frankenstein, and I really liked it. I love movies from the 30s. I love the look of them, so I'm going to go with Bride of Frankenstein.
Okay. I actually have to confess I have not seen either of these.
Fuck you, Greg.
I know I'm terrible. I love the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I don't know how close the remake is to the original, those who have seen it. I'm going to roll forward with Bride of Frankenstein just because I do love the 30s old horror style.
Cool.
While I appreciate the original old style horror movies, they just bore the shit out of me. So I'm going with Dawn of the Dead.
And I'm going to ride Patrick's coattails and go Romero all the way with a little bit of
we got
Dawn
a
of
tie.
We
the
have
Dead.
a tie. Patrick.
Yeah, talk amongst yourselves while I bring up the notes.
Yeah. Well, what do you like about Bride of Frankenstein, Maddie and Greg? Since we...
I haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
you didn't see it, but... So, no, but so I guess what is it about the 30s, I guess, movies that you appreciate?
I like watching those older movies because I love the history of them, because like it's really entertaining to watch these and realize people were horrified from these movies, and I just love that history in the first horror that came out, because like it built the foundation to everything that we have today.
Yeah.
And it's so weird to think that like this movie existed, and then like almost 100 years later, something like a Serbian film exists.
Yeah.
So it's just, I just love that history of it, and I love the look of the film as well.
Cool.
I would have to second that. When I was watching original Dracula, original Frankenstein, it's so iconic, and yeah, they are boring as shit, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And being able to watch these and think, people were terrified by this.
Yeah.
What would they think of the horror movies that are out now?
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
just like blows my mind that you could go back to see something like that. It's like, really, this is not bad. Like I could throw a PG-13 on this and I'd feel okay about it.
Yeah.
So just, yeah.
Cool. Patrick, do we have a winner?
IMDb for both of them 7.9. So that's a tie there. Okay. So then we jump over to Rotten Tomato Critic, which the tomato meter for the critic score was 93 for Dawn of the Dead and 100 for Bride of Frankenstein, which is 7 points. But the audience score is 90% for Dawn of the Dead and 87% for Bride of Frankenstein, which is a difference of 3, which makes Bride of Frankenstein wins by 4 points.
Oh my
We're going to
god.
go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bride of Frankenstein somehow beats the fucking Dawn of the... Whatever, man.
I just don't see how
No,
it's
my
that
bracket.
close.
My bracket's destroyed.
The critics, the critics on Rotten Tomatoes, they must be like 100 years old.
Probably.
Yeah.
And they, that's all they like is the black and white stuff.
That's all good.
Yeah.
It's more artsy. There's no brains that were being torn out or something like that. Yeah. All right. The last bracket here should be an interesting one.
This is a good
matchup here.
You two head-to-heads, yeah.
The Exorcist goes up against The Omen.
Mm-hmm. Damien versus Regan.
Yeah. No contest for me. The Exorcist wins.
Yeah.
As much as I love Gregory Peck, nope. I thought The Omen was kind of boring, just a little bit. I mean, it's still an interesting watch. But I fucking love The Exorcist.
Cool.
Just based on talks, obviously I haven't seen The Exorcist. I'm leaning with.
We knew that, Patrick.
Yeah,
we knew that.
I know, but every time he says that,
it's painful.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
Right.
I know.
Me inside a little bit.
Probably shouldn't be talking about horror movies. Not having seen The Exorcist.
Don't peer pressure him. It's fine.
I have my reasons.
Do it by force.
God damn it!
I know.
Last time that happened, I couldn't. I can't deal with clowns, so don't do that. I'm going to roll with The Exorcist.
Yeah. Exorcist was probably the second horror movie that I remember watching. I was far too young to watch it, and it just has an everlasting impression on me. The Omen is a great movie. Still, my point is going to The Exorcist.
The Exorcist for the sweep.
Unanimous. I like it. All right. Now, I know last time we did this, we jumped over into the other bracket and region. I actually want to stay in the Maddie region and finish out this one. So we're going to jump back up to the top here. We've got Poltergeist versus Carrie. Wow.
Oh, that's hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard.
I'm going to throw mine out. All right. I'm going Carrie.
I'm going to go Poltergeist. Actually, Poltergeist is not just to contradict you, but
no, that's fine.
Poltergeist to me is a little more of what I think as a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
It just has more of those horror elements
Sure.
to me. So Poltergeist wins for me.
Dumping pig's blood on prom queens doesn't say horror. That's fine. I understand that.
That's just a Friday night, man.
This is a tough one for me, but I think I need to go with Carrie. It just affected me more than what Poltergeist
Absolutely.
did.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Poltergeist. Yeah, hands down.
All right, back to
I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole here. I'm just saying.
If you are, that's totally fine.
I didn't pick Carrie the first time. I'm not going to pick Carrie the second time.
Quit picking on my favorite movies, damn it.
It's just, I mean, again, you go back and, say why Carrie over Poltergeist? Like what beyond, Sissy Spacek's performance, which was great. What about Carrie? What about the character drives you to pick that over Poltergeist, which was clearly like the scarier movie, but whatever.
Probably, but I feel like Carrie is a lot more of a tangible type movie. Like you probably knew somebody very similar to Carrie's character in high school.
Yeah.
And just kind of the back thought, what happens if she kind of just went like nutsoid? Like we had a girl that was very similar to Carrie. Obviously, she didn't have telekinetic powers, but
fucking awesome.
she spent most of her English classes writing some pretty creepy things. One that actually got her expelled because she named a lot of people from high school and like horrible things happening to them. And
nice.
So it's
not
just,
nice.
No, it wasn't nice at all. But it was just like one of those things of you really don't know a person until you like really know a person. So it just kind of, I think that's more of the horror of it for me is it feels like it's seriously real.
Cool. Got a
I
winner,
hope
Patrick?
she's doing well.
I hope she is too.
Yes. The numbers are in, and once again, very close. IMDb for both Poltergeist and Carrie, 7.4.
Damn it.
Can't win.
So on Rotten Tomatoes, then, Poltergeist scores 86 with the critics, and Carrie scores 93, giving her an advantage of 7 points. But when it comes to the audience, Poltergeist gets 78, and Carrie gets 77, giving her only a 6-point advantage. Carrie moves on.
Okay.
Carrie fucking beat out two things in the goddamn tiebreaker. It's ridiculous.
Now, one would, then you have to go back and kind of consider, would Carrie have beaten The Shining if you match those two things?
All right, quick bracket.
No, let's
quick side bracket.
Nope, we're going to move on.
We got to move on, man.
I know it would win.
Carrie moved on. Let's move on.
All right, Bride of Frankenstein versus The Exorcist.
Is there?
No.
Yeah,
Exorcist.
Exorcist.
Yeah.
Okay, when it comes down to Carrie versus The Exorcist, I swear to fucking God, when we get to that bracket, don't make me kill somebody.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's the next time we meet, which is actually
In a week.
a week. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, Josh,
Yes, sir.
before next week, I'm going to watch this.
Woo!
Are you sure?
I mean, it's on you, man.
I'm
I'm
gonna
not.
watch
There's
this.
no fucking peer pressure coming from this
I
side
know.
of the table.
No.
You can look to your two corners, but don't look across
No,
here.
I'm going to do this because it is Carrie versus The Exorcist.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I absolutely love Carrie, and I don't feel confident, or I don't feel like I could be a good horror review podcast or whatever. A, not having seen this. B, trying to defend Carrie versus probably one of the best horror movies of all time.
I don't think that's going to offend you as much as you think it's going
Yeah.
to.
No, and I don't. It's a lot of just
It's the religious aspect of it.
yeah,
I got you, man.
For you, religious horror
Yeah.
scares the crap out of you because for you, it's a realistic thing.
right.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
it's all good, man.
But I am going to break down. I'm going to watch it.
I tell you what,
I
watch
feel
it.
like
come
a
back.
proud mama.
I'm growing up.
Oh my
And then y'all can read his review when he writes it.
All right, we're going to jump over to the Patrick bracket over here. We're going to start off with first bracket here is, this should be an interesting one, Alien versus Saw.
These brackets are going to be fucking tough. I'm going to be really honest with you.
I'm looking forward to it. This is
Maddie.
going to be a lot of fun.
I thought it's
Oh,
Patrick's
Patrick.
bracket.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
oh,
Patrick.
Yeah,
shit.
so
I'm going to step out of line. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, like you threw her under the bus when it was her bracket. So, yeah.
Look. I'm not trying to. Again, I'm not trying to be a dick. I just like trying to keep shit in order.
I like how you say not trying to be a dick.
I'm
It's
not.
just that
I
you-
mean, I fail a lot, but I'm trying.
You know what? You guys, if you want to go back and listen to one of the podcasts early on a couple of years
yeah.
ago, you know how I feel about Saw. I have an appreciation for it, but so many plot holes in that thing that I've got to go with Alien. Alien kept my attention so much better, and for me, it was actually more suspenseful than what Saw was. My vote goes to Alien.
Yeah, I mean, I was a huge fan of Saw when it came out. I still am. Even bigger fan of James Wan and what he's doing. But Jesus Christ, beat Sigourney Weaver, I dare you. So I'm going with Alien.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Saw. Hello.
I was going to say, I'm shocked.
I know, very shocking. No, I watched this movie in the 7th or 8th grade, and it just like started my love for torture porn, and I still have a huge love for that. And Saw is like my comfort movie. I don't know why, but like, you know, when you get drunk and a little sad, for some reason I watch all 7 of these. Like, I sit there and watch all of them, and I have no idea why.
Including Jigsaw? Do you watch Jigsaw?
Fuck Jigsaw.
Okay, thank you very much, Maddie. Thank you. That's all I needed. Fuck Jigsaw.
All right. I'm trying to think here. We've got suspense versus true gore. I like Saw. I'm glad that I actually got back into the series because the first time I saw it, I was wildly disappointed, and that was due to a lot of people trying to explain Saw to me before I had seen it, and they were god awfully terrible at explaining it. So I'm glad that I was able to get back into it. However, there is no suspense like Alien, and I think what they were able to do with that was just absolutely incredible. Yeah, Ridley Scott he did a really good job with Alien, so I'm rolling forward with that one.
Yeah, I'm not even mad about Saw losing.
I love Saw. I do, but I mean,
Yeah,
that's
Alien is
tough.
an icon. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, our next bracket here is Halloween versus Dario Argento's Suspiria.
I actually had the opportunity to finally watch this movie because I wanted to watch it before I watched the remake. And I need to put Halloween before Suspiria. I mean, Suspiria was a great movie, but it was more of an artsy type thing.
Sure.
So when it comes to pure horror for me, Halloween moves on in my mind.
Yep, Carpenter for the win. Halloween.
I actually haven't seen Suspiria yet. Yeah, I just haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to go with Halloween just because I haven't seen it.
Halloween for the sweep.
Woo!
All right, our next one. Relative newcomer Jordan Peele's Get Out versus Sam Raimi's Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, this is a no-brainer.
Really?
Really, I enjoy Evil Dead. I enjoy the series of the Evil Dead movies. but they're just not really my cup of tea when it comes to really enjoying a horror film. And I know that Get Out, it's argued it's not a horror film, that it's a thriller. But once again, thrillers, I believe, are a subgenre of the horror film. So my vote is going to Get Out.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Evil Dead series, and I like what Sam Raimi did. Jordan Peele fucking swung one out of the park with Get Out. But again, we with that discussion we constantly have, was Get Out a horror film? I don't know, but I'm gonna go with Get Out.
I actually have not seen either of these movies, but I did sort of enjoy the first Evil Dead, and I don't like movies with social commentary, so I will go with Evil Dead 2.
Ooh. I am going to move Get Out on through, because I really appreciated what Jordan Peele is doing with the thriller horror genre. Even though they are social commentaries, I feel like he's got one of the more creative opportunities going for him right now. So Get Out.
Yeah, because it's interesting because last time we met, Night of the Living Dead moved on to next week, and Night of the Living Dead is definitely a social commentary movie.
It very much is.
Yep.
All right, the last bracket here in Patrick's region is Rosemary's Baby versus Todd Browning's Freaks.
Now, I know if Tom is listening to this podcast at some point or another, he's going to kick me in the nuts for the comments that I'm going to make, because Rosemary's Baby is one of his all-time favorite movies, but both of these movies bore the shit out of me. I appreciate Rosemary's Baby more than Freaks. I'd never seen Freaks before, and up until the last 5 minutes of that movie, I just was probably sleeping or something, because it just bored the hell out of me. I can appreciate their place in history, both of these movies. My vote is, and Tom, just because it's better than Freaks, Rosemary's Baby.
Yep. Our friend Tom swears by Rosemary's Baby. Every time I feel like he got on the podcast, he talked about Rosemary's Baby. Have you seen Rosemary's Baby? Rosemary's Baby. That's what he brought up a lot.
He talks about Rosemary's Baby like Maddie talks about Hellraiser.
Yeah. So
pretty much, yeah.
For me, it's a WWTD. What would Tom do? He would pick Rosemary's Baby. So that's my pick.
Okay.
I just realized it's the first cast I haven't brought up Hellraiser.
Nope, there it is.
And there it is.
There it is.
There, I did it. I needed to just put that in there. Although I love Rosemary's Baby, I'm going to go with Freaks because, as I said, I love that era in horror. And that movie was really, really shocking when it came out.
When it came out, definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I will, as I said, as much as I like Rosemary's Baby, I'm going to go with Freaks.
Patrick, before I dive into mine, could I have you do me a favor? Would you look at the ratings on both of these for me? I'm just curious.
Yes.
I'm just curious. I already know what my pick is.
You can't fucking cheat.
No. I'm not
Greg.
I'm not cheating. My name is Greg. Thank you.
I said Greg.
You said Pug Greg.
I said Pug Greg. I was.
No, I'm interested to see on this. I do have my pick already. I love both of these movies. I feel like Rosemary's Baby is probably one of the more terrifying movies that I've seen, just because of how everything kind of turns out in it, obviously. Freaks, I did get a chance to see when I was in film school, and I got to see it on the big screen.
They showed that to you in film school?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And watching these things crawl through the mud is one of the most terrifying scenes that I have ever seen. So both of these movies have a special place in the horror genre. Ultimately, I'd love to give Freaks some love, because it definitely deserves it for what I felt it was. Rosemary's Baby, I feel, is a more iconic film on it. So I'm giving the nod to Rosemary's Baby, but I just wanted to see how they fared as far as the critics go, or the ratings go. Excuse me.
We're talking there's a 1.1 difference between the two of them.
Good Lord.
Yeah. The Rosemary's Baby scored an 8 on IMDb. Freaks 7.9, so that's the 0.1. For the critics on Rotten Tomatoes, Rosemary's Baby got a 99, while Freaks got a 94. So that's a 5-point difference there. However, the audience score, Rosemary's Baby 82 and Freaks 88, which brings that 5 down to a 1.1 difference in favor of Freaks.
And that was your math lesson for today, kiddies. Enjoy.
So that's, it just shows you how razor thin these are as far as all-time best horror movies.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, Rosemary's Baby moves on. All right, let's wrap this one up here. We've got Alien versus Halloween.
At risk of having things thrown at me, Alien over Halloween.
For me, it's a Ridley Scott versus John Carpenter, and I will 99.9% of the time pick Carpenter over Ridley Scott. So I'm going with Halloween.
I'm actually going to go Halloween as well.
Ooh, I could be the tire or I could be the mover.
Fuck you, Greg.
I kind of want to hear the ratings just to see where they're
Oh,
at.
Lord.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. That's fine. For me, it's I loved Alien. Again, it's a suspense. I felt Halloween was a better movie, on my personal opinion. I love the slasher more than I really like the suspense. So Halloween. All right, and finally, Get Out versus Rosemary's Baby.
Going back to my remarks when I was talking about Freaks and Rosemary's Baby and how much the hell they bored me, Get Out.
Yeah, it was easy for me to pick Rosemary's Baby because I was always going to pick Get Out. Sorry, Tom. Get Out.
Are you fucking kidding me? We're talking about a horror icon versus some social commentary thriller. Is this a fucking joke to you people? Jesus motherfucking Christ.
Did you hear me laugh?
Rosemary.
I was waiting for her to throw a punch or
I know.
something.
Y'all are way too far away for me to be
She
doing that
came
nonsense.
out swinging.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Bullshit ass fucking shit,
But
man.
I've never seen Rosemary's Baby, so would you pick something over something you've never seen?
Yes,
Okay, well, shit.
I did.
Oh, really? You've never seen either of those?
No, I've never seen. I didn't see Get Out versus
Oh, gotcha.
or Evil Dead 2, and I still
Oh,
picked
gotcha.
Evil Dead 2 over Get Out because, as we've said, Get Out is not a horror movie.
Okay. Go ahead, Greg.
If you'll notice, I'm out of swinging distance.
Yeah.
I'm afraid Maddie's going to throw something at me. Get out.
Y'all
Cool.
can suck my taint.
Wow.
Hate this fucking show.
And you know how I felt when you guys voted out The Shining.
Maddie, you got to come back at least one more week so we can finish your shit, all right?
I guess.
You know, if she doesn't come back, we'll have 3.
I don't want to be a dick or anything, but
I'm not trying to be a dick or nothing.
we watched Begotten, Maddie, so that's my defense. What's the next thing?
No, so come back to our next show. We will go through the final 4, or we will set the final 4, and then the final 2 to determine the winner of the best horror movie of all time, as determined by the Midnight Fright Cast.
And I will flip this table if Get Out wins.
And
we
we
will-
currently have Friday the 13th versus Nightmare on Elm Street, Carrie versus The Exorcist, Night of the Living Dead versus Blair Witch Project, and, as we discovered tonight, Maddie's favorite bracket, Halloween versus Get Out. That
Yeah.
means, wait a minute, does that mean you have to watch Get Out by next week?
I won't. I will watch that on my own terms when I'm in the mood, and
Maddie,
I'm never
no,
in the mood.
Greg is watching the
He's taking
fucking
home
Exorcist. All right, I'm just saying.
I will watch it eventually, but as I said, it will be on when I feel like it. And as I said, I cannot see me feeling like it in a week.
All right. So, yeah, cool. March Madness, we just wrapped that up. We'll wrap that up next week when we come back. But tonight, we watched a Maddie feature. And sorry, I'm not trying to... I know I keep saying I'm not trying to be a dick, but we watched a Maddie feature. So, Patrick, do you have deets on Begotten?
I do have the deets on Begotten. Begotten 1990 or 1989, depending which site you go to. It is now free on YouTube, running an hour 12. Presented in a surreal, gory, and entirely visual manner, Begotten tells the death of religion, the abuse of nature by man, and a nihilistic outlook on what life ultimately is. IMDb rating 5.9, Metacritic score not available, Rotten Tomatoes critic 67%, and Rotten Tomato audience score of 65%.
Cool. So just a quick poll. Who fucking watched this movie without cheating? Meaning, who watched it all the way through and didn't skip, like 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, just to get to the end of this movie?
I watched it all the way through, in fact, pausing so I can write notes and then continue.
I really only asked this question because I know the answer is Greg. So, yeah. I watched the whole thing. Maddie, you said you didn't rewatch it, right?
No, but I've seen it before.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think if you've seen it once, that's definitely enough.
Cool. Yeah. So, Greg, since you only got to the, 15-minute mark?
No. I watched the entire thing.
Oh, you did? I thought you said you cut it at 15 minutes.
Oh, y'all are so much better than me.
No. What I said was I had an idea of what the entire film was going to be like after 15
Oh,
minutes.
gotcha.
You knew the rest
Okay.
of the movie.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to shift it over to Maddie real quick because she picked it. So, Defend your movie, Maddie.
I picked this to be a dick. There is no other reason.
Okay.
You win.
God damn it.
Remember that whole I'm not trying to be a dick thing? Maddie wins.
Maddie wins. You're not trying to be the dick.
Yeah.
And she is. There you go.
But go anyway, Maddie. Because I want to know why you watch this movie, why you can watch this movie over and over again.
As I said, I kind of watch this as a background movie at parties, which is why I don't have many.
What kind of parties do you go to?
No one wants to come to my house. I heard about this movie because it was in the top 50 most disturbing movies of all time. And I love going on those lists and watching all of them because I have a problem. But I also really like other stuff the director has done. He did Shadow of a Vampire,
Yes,
which
very good
is
movie.
a great movie. He also directed 2 Marilyn Manson music videos, and that's freaking awesome.
Which ones?
Oh my gosh, which ones did he do? Shit, I totally blanked.
Okay.
Well, fart.
Yeah, but it was
Cryptorchid. I don't know how to pronounce
This is
it.
going
I think
good.
Patrick's stroking out.
Derpy derp. It's actually Cryptorchid. Is Marilyn Manson Cryptorchid, and then Marilyn Manson Antichrist Superstar.
That one makes perfect sense.
yeah.
That was the one where he was in the female bodysuit, wasn't it? Or no, that was Dope Show. Never
that was
mind.
Dope
Excuse
Show,
me.
yeah.
My bad.
When is he not in that female bodysuit? Come on.
True.
I don't know. I've said before I don't really like movies that are a show over story, but this is one of the few that I just think this movie looks really cool. And it does. It's awesome. It's kind of gory. I don't know. To me, it's just fun. It is kind of a sit, but like, it's very different than a lot of other horror movies that I like and watch. And I don't know. I feel like this movie is more of an art piece
Definitely,
than a horror
definitely.
movie.
Experimental.
And, yeah, it's very experimental. And I would actually love to see more from this director. He hasn't directed a ton of stuff, but I would love to see more cool art movies every once in a while. Every once in a while. Most of the time I still want a good story to go with it, but I don't know, seeing some cool gory shit every once in a while is like my jam. So that's why I also to be a dick. But yeah, that's why I picked it.
Maddie found the one-way ticket to the penalty box.
Yeah, I know.
man.
I know. I was
The only
like,
thing is
I'm
we don't
going-
do the penalty box anymore. It's
Yeah.
just you have to wait until
Yeah.
your rotation comes
Yeah.
around.
Right, to try and redeem yourself. So I'm actually going to jump in here. I'm not going to shit on this movie as much as I probably should.
Oh no, go ahead.
No. Honestly, I like a lot of different types of horror movies than you like, obviously. I'm a little more Hollywood narrative type. But I actually found an appreciation for this film a little bit. And I think a lot of it was because of the stylistic nature that it was. The whites and the blacks that he used in there cinematically was just like, holy shit, this is really fucking cool. I especially love the scene, and I'm still not sure what I was watching when the scene was happening, but when it was just the hands, where you could see like the dark side had the one hand and the white side, you could barely see the silhouette of the other hand. And I think I know what was happening.
Oh, you know what was happening.
Was that what was happening?
Yes, that was what was happening.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Just go on to YouTube and watch it. No, the artistic style of this film I thought was probably the coolest part of this. Being able to use the silhouettes when the humanoid creatures were dragging the maggot man. I don't know what you call it. He was driving around like a freaking maggot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Watching the silhouettes of those was a really cool type shot, and I'm more of the cinematic types, and being able to see this in a completely different light than just going to a movie theater and catching these types of shots was kind of eye-opening for me, which is what I really appreciated. I had another thought that I was going to go to, and I completely forgot it. Shit. Somebody else go.
I absolutely hated this movie, but like Greg, developed an appreciation for it. And that only came when the credits rolled. Because when the credits rolled and it said what the characters were, then I understood what the hell was going on in the movie a little bit better. And that made me do more research on it. And then I learned more about what he was trying to do, how he was doing it, everything else like that. You know, like to get the rough look, he actually scraped up the film, the negatives and stuff like that to give it that really scratched up, grainy look and everything else. And even at that, he didn't feel like it was rough enough. I had a hard time seeing what was going on. It was a very, very low resolution of what was already a hard-to-see film. So I know the version that we saw was extremely low resolution, and I found myself squinting even though I was like 4 feet away from the screen because it I couldn't make out what was happening on the screen. I definitely knew what was going on at that one point because she had just jerked off God, got the semen on her belly, and then was masturbating with it.
Yep, that's what I thought she was doing. Okay.
So we begin with God killing himself. That was the actual character's name.
Yeah.
It was God killing himself. And then Mother Earth emerged from him after he died. She inseminated herself with God's seed, and that's where the Son of Earth came from, because she gave birth to a full-grown man at that point. He was considered flesh on bone, and then later on taken through the trials. So basically, in the research that I found out, it was telling different stories. It was basically a retelling of stories in Genesis. But then also people were saying that it was, with Son of Earth, that was kind of like the creation of Christ taken through his crucifixion.
Okay.
At that point. And then someone else threw in that the third act was the whole thing with Golgotha, where everybody was killed and all that other stuff. So I had a better appreciation after I did some research on it, what he was going for, the fact that he ran a theater called the Theater of Material, and I assumed they did all sorts of artsy shit during that time and decided to throw it on film. This is actually the first part of what he wanted to do as a trilogy. He filmed the second part, never got around to doing the third part.
The second part's weird. It's also on YouTube.
Okay.
It's about 14 minutes long, so it's perfect. And
do you know the name of that offhand?
Den of Celestial Birds.
Okay.
And it's kind of, do you remember when like computers first became like a thing and like your Windows Media Player played those like pretty colors along with the song?
Yes.
That's what Den of Celestial Birds looks like.
Okay.
So it's kind
All right.
of, it's almost kind of a peaceful movie. I don't really understand what it's trying to do. I thought, as you said, once you do more research into this movie, because there's no dialogue, you can kind of see, oh, that's what he was going for. I have no idea what he was going for in Den of Celestial Birds, except for
I did find it disturbing. I don't think it was one of the top whatever disturbing movies of all time. I found it disturbing because, they spent 5 minutes punching her in the crotch with a stick.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell's going on? Why am I watching this? At that point.
Because I picked it.
And, but I did appreciate the symbolism and everything else, especially at the end when they took all of, after they had disembodied both of them, and then they mushed all their stuff and pushed it into the earth, and from the earth, things began to grow. Again, I did appreciate the symbolism. I did have an appreciation for this movie. I will never watch it again.
I had to stop this movie about halfway through and research what the fuck was going on because I had no idea. I was so confused, and I wish the movie was in color because I might have been a little more entertained. The whitewash, I just couldn't see anything. Right. I have no idea what was going on in this movie, and I felt like I stole something and I was being punished, and I wished prison time was an option because this is not a sit. It's an hour and 12 minutes, which is really fucking easy to sit through in a movie. And it was hard to get through an hour and 12 minutes of just watching something you have no idea what you're watching.
50% of this movie, I swear to God, was people doing repetitive things in slow motion.
Yeah. And the opening where you're watching the guy, I don't know what he was fucking doing.
He was gutting himself with a straight razor.
Himself.
That went on forever. And I was like, all right.
Well, it takes a minute.
Yeah.
I was like,
did he also shit on his own leg?
Yes, he did.
Is that what that was?
Yeah,
also, that's what happens.
I felt like
when
I
you
could
die,
smell
you
it.
shit yourself.
It was awful. It was so I watched that. I mean, I just kept waiting for that to end. Every time I got to a part where I was like, what am I fucking doing? I felt like it went on forever and it was never ending. But yeah, I did have to stop it halfway through and look up what is Begotten about? Because I had no idea but it was interesting, like Patrick said too, once it broke it down for you and you could kind of follow along a little bit, it was easier to follow along with what was going on.
But does that fall into some strange trap where it's only interesting once it's explained to you?
Yeah, it doesn't make it better, and I still don't appreciate this movie at all.
No, and that's actually one of the point that I was going to make that I had forgotten was I've noticed that there's a comfort in a narrative of a story. So when you take a movie like Begotten, where you remove any sort of dialogue or vocal anything like that, you remove basically a spoon-fed narrative to you, it makes the movie very uncomfortable. And I think that's exactly what Begotten was because you don't know what the hell's going on. You open and you see this guy in some cabin, I assume is what it looked like, and he's gutting himself with a straight razor. And you're like, okay, I want to know what's going on. Now he's shitting on himself, and he's dead, and here comes this lady from behind the curtain. What the hell is going on? And I feel like that's better of a horror movie because they take that the narrative out of it completely. They want you to determine for yourself what the hell is actually going on. And that could be very uncomfortable for any type of viewer who's not used to that type of a movie.
I think you can take like 10 clips out of this movie and make it like Into the Ring 2.
I mean,
I could see that. Absolutely.
If you didn't look up, though, what was going on at the beginning, you could have taken it. Once that lady emerged, you could have been like, she was stabbing him and she shit on his leg.
Right.
You have no idea. Why
then,
would she do that to
and
him?
And then she decided to, like play with her breast for 5 minutes before going over and giving him a hand job.
Yeah, it's like she killed him and then she jerked him off. She's just backwards. It was just without looking that movie up, you have no idea, and not knowing what's going on. I guess if you're going to watch Begotten, research this movie.
It's
first.
wildly uncomfortable, and that's kind of the other reason that I appreciated it for what it was, is that artistic style and just completely removing the narrative and basically forcing the audience to determine what the hell is going on, whether you have to look it up, because I was definitely sitting there on IMDb like, all right, that's what's going on. Okay, reading the reviews, and now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Definitely, as an art film, I give this a thumbs up. As a horror film, a thumbs down.
Okay.
Anything else?
I have some fun facts.
Oh,
Yeah,
excellent.
yeah,
We
cool.
love fun facts.
All right. It was first released at the San Francisco International Film Festival in 1990. And then it went straight to video. It was banned in Singapore. It was on the list of top 50 disturbing movies in 1912.
1912?
Oh my God, 2012.
That would be really freaking disturbing in 1912.
Have a good time. It took 3.5 years of filming time. It was shot on a 16mm camera. Mm-hmm. Then, as you said, you took sandpaper to it.
Yeah. The majority of the film was shot like in 27 days, but he wanted to do things with it over time, so that's why it took 3
Where
years.
was this movie out of? Was this out of the U.S.?
Yeah. Yeah,
Was that made here?
he filmed it in somewhere in New Jersey, something like
Yeah,
that.
at a construction site.
Yeah, at a construction site.
Oh, shit. Okay, cool. Should we rate?
Yes.
Are we there?
Yeah, I think so.
That's right.
Anybody else have any other comments?
No.
Great. So we rate the movie on the fear factor, the gore score, and then the overall score. Who wants to jump in first?
Yeah, because I can't give movies a 0 because they exist. I will give Begotten
This
a 1.
is fear factor first.
Yeah, I'll give it a 1.
Okay.
I'll give it a 3 just because, as you said, it is kind of uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It's still fun.
I'll actually give it a 4 just for that fear fact that it is uncomfortable to watch.
Didn't make me uncomfortable. It just made me
Dizzy.
not dizzy. I just kind of like, you see those dogs that just kind of turn their head to the side. That was me during this entire movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 1 for fear factor. So moving on to gore score.
Yeah, gore score, I can't not give it something. Again, I'll probably give that, I'd give that a 5 for a gore score. I'll give it a 5.
I'll give it a 3 or 4. 3.5. I'll give it a 3.5 just because there are some really graphic scenes, but since they're so contrasted in black and white, you're like, is that fucking gore? Is that
Did he really just shit on his leg?
Yeah. Is that Kool-Aid? What's going on?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 6 just because it's one of the more graphic films that I have ever seen, but done really interestingly with, again, the black and white contrasting.
Yeah. Just because of that, because of the fact that I could not see what the hell was going on for sure, and I was squinting through, an hour 12 of this movie, I'm giving it a 1 on the gore score because the black and white contrast, there was no gray in this thing. It was just.
But
black
you knew
and
what
white.
was going on when you're talking about her being stabbed in the vagina for 5 minutes.
She
with a
wasn't
stick.
stabbed. She was just like
They were
punched.
poking her with a stick.
Yeah, but it was like just.
And you
it
knew
was
what
like
was
taking
going
a
on.
pugil stick to her crotch.
You're giving it
wasn't
a
even-
1 for a vagina stick kick thing?
It's a 1.
All right.
1 for the gore.
I mean, I would give it at least a 3 for that one part.
I can't wait till we watch Martyrs on this fucking cast. If you give that a 6, I'm so excited.
All right, overall score.
Again, because movies exist, I can never give them a 0. So I will give Begotten a 1.
For its creativity and what it was, I'm going to give it a 7.
On an artistic side, I give it higher than a 1. I'll probably give it a 3.
because I am judging this film as an art film, and I know that it is not something that I would want to watch again. I know that other people have a much more deeper appreciation for this. I'm going to go right in the middle with a 5.
And I'm officially the dick. Awesome. Cool.
How's it feel, Josh?
I can live with that. I've been called worse. I got 3 kids, man. Cool. So we have some plugs to wrap up with, and then we are going to say a good night. Greg, plug.
I am Greg the Movie Guy, and I am positively writing movie reviews over at gregthemovieguy.com.
Oh, Maddie, you got a plug?
Nope.
Okay, cool. Hey, if you're a filmmaker and you live in Nebraska, there's this really cool, awesome fucking festival coming up. But right now, you can submit to it at Film Freeway. It's the Prairie Lights Film Festival. If you have a film out there, submit. It's filling up really fast. There's some really cool movies that are getting scheduled right now. I've seen a handful of them, and it's gonna be a cool year. So, but submit, because you should. That's my plug. Film Freeway, Prairie Lights Film Festival. Patrick, go.
If you are a fan of the Frightcast, and we know that you are, help us out. Make sure that you head on over to iTunes or whatever platform you're listening to us on, and make sure to rate and review us. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Player FM, and many, many more. You can also help us out with some of the minor bills and head on over to patreon.com/MidnightFrightcast. Make sure to check us out online. You can find us on Twitter at MFrightcast, and you can follow us and join in the conversation in our Facebook group, Midnight Frightcast. You can also find us on Instagram, Midnight Frightcast. So share, and share some more, and post on your walls and tell your friends. And finally, make sure to check out our films at midnightfrightfilms.com. Fuck you, Josh.
Is it tomorrow yet?
You should probably have one of those just like on standby that you can just drop.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say.
No. I like your plug for real. That's it for us. For Greg and Patrick and Maddie and myself. Thanks for hanging out with us on the Midnight Frightcast. We'll see you. Good night.
Peace out, Boy Scout.
Go watch Begotten. Don't.